welcome to bexbugoutsurvivor. Now, a while ago we looked at dialing in an underquilt for the hammock, and that means stretching that underquilt, and there is generally only one way to do that until now. So I had a thought last night and I put it together, but I don't know if it's going to work or not. But if you're watching this episode, then it must work, because if it doesn't, I'm not going to air it. I'm not going to publish this video. Got some game hunting going on the estate this morning, so I'm just wearing my patch. What's going to happen here is you're going to see something a little different. Last night all this was just an idea, and I've configured some bits and pieces. Haven't been in it to test it. This is going to be a first. I'll be using an 11-foot hammock. This is the 1.7 Hexon by Dutchware, and I am aiming to make it a hardware-free system. And the quilt I'm using is just my summer goose down quilt for demonstration. But it is getting quite warm, and at the time of recording it's still relatively early in the year. What the plan is to be able to fit the underquilt in an asymmetrical lie, because your hammock will be running straight up and down and we sleep kind of on an angle to it like that, and of course the quilt doesn't want to do that, so I have to make the quilt do it, and I'm not going to do that by pulling on the cords, the primary and secondary cords, to achieve that. There's two ways we can cheat doing this. Hammock up and have a look at the idea first. Now, when I first looked at this hammock from Dutch, I didn't use these tree straps. I used tree straps off another, I think they were nylon, and boy, they slipped, and there's a hell of a lot less slip from these. Right, that's good news. That's amazing. And usually there's a lot of stretch on the lines, the tree webbing. Not this time. It really does pay to invest, really does. I've got a video on how to put on an underquilt. Achieving the lift, the angles, everything you want to know, but it's broken down into 3 really easy steps. But it doesn't always accommodate that kind of asymmetrical lie, where the hammock is this way and we lie that way. The quilt wants to slip off your shoulders and your feet. So I need a different kind of anchor point from here to here, head and foot. I'm just going to put on 2 of the end tie-outs, head and foot. One left, one right. And then we'll come to the trick afterwards. So it looks quite odd having alternating corners, but right up here, this is an SRL structural ridgeline that runs from one end of the hammock to the other. Prusik loop, S-beaner. Now the corner that I haven't hung from here is going to that Prusik instead of going down here where it usually would. So here's the actual hammock. I'm going to stretch out the underquilt And look what's happened. It is actually lying absolutely asymmetrical to the hammock. This is where the feet go, and now I'm going to hook it into this here. The same goes for the head end here. So there is where my feet will go into. You can see the genuine angle an underquilt should be at. A lot of people would have connected their channel end cord here straight up to the beaner, as well as this other one here. I haven't done the head end yet because I haven't tested any of this. As far as I know, it might not even work, but the fact that you're watching this video must mean it has worked. I just wouldn't publish this video if it didn't. Very gingerly at first. So far so good. Let's see if I can get more of a lie here. I am as asymmetrically flat as I can. I've got a few inches to go. Just want to adjust this toe end. There's so much around my toes. There's so much around my shoulder. Wow, this is brilliant. It just needs the quilt moving down a little, just so it covers a little more of my feet. Adjusting these prussiks seems to alter how it is and how it sits on your shoulder. So I'll draw this back. Oh. Drawing it forward, as you can see, it pulls it more over your shoulder, in fact over my head like a hat. And if I push the other way, let's see what happens to that. Now it comes off a little. Right, I'm cozy, really cozy. It's not been perfected, but the kernel of the idea I had last night, the whole principle of the idea is there. It's working. Now when you're making a prussic for your SRL, your structural ridge line, I always find if you use a bungee elastic onto this kind of Dyneema line here, it grips a whole lot better. I know a lot of other people will use a cord on a cord. If you've got spare bungee elastic, I really recommend trying that on either your paracord or your Dyneema line, your Spectra line. Mix the two up, the nylon cord and the bungee. That's only on elastic, that. If I fell asleep just as I am right now for the whole night, boy, be warm. But just a few little tweaks here and there now, and that'll be the difference between it being good and perfect. I'm going to take 10 minutes out of my life to make these adjustments. So I did promise you I'd show you a couple of methods. One of the big problems I had, and it took me a long time to realise what the problem was, or rather the cure for the problem. So what you need to do is strip out all the cord from a channel line. I would purchase something a little thicker, maybe in the region of 3 mil. I've got 4 in this. The manufacturers of underquilts who provide the shock cord in this just don't give you enough, because they're trying to meet budget costs, so they'll only give you the bare minimum. So buy your own, buy plenty of it, and you might just find that such a simple little thing like extra bungee cord will marry this point here up to the end of your hammock. just an extra piece of bungee that I can tie on to the end here, and that has success as well. Not like this. This is in a league of its own though. Looks weird, doesn't it? All the insulation is concentrated on my back, the backside, my legs, my feet. All the adjustment seems to be on this here. Whether I want my feet elevated at higher or lower pitch, I can move this along the SRL. Where did you put my glasses? I only connect head right and foot left. The other two go on to the prusik, and this is just for my night lantern. That is how that is connected. Put a little UCO candle on that and I'm a happy bunny. This has actually come up and over my feet, but I am out tomorrow night for a camp, and I'll take my netted hammock because I've got other ideas. Now the bit here behind my head and my feet are at full extension. I haven't tightened the cinch cord up at all. No drafts there. The quilt is coming to about here, so from here upwards is not covered. My feet are absolutely toasty warm there. Toasty. I will see you next time on Bexbugoutsurvivor pretty soon.